Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about UFC fighters that are getting a little up there in age, and I think we should talk about what are their motivations. Is there a realistic road journey to that title? What options do they have? And I think it's an interesting thing because there's a couple of them. I'm not going to go through all of them today, but if this video does well, I will continue going on through the next weight classes. We're doing flyweight and bantamweight, I believe it is. We're doing flyweight and bantamweight. Yep, exactly. So yeah, first one we're starting off with is Tim Elliott. He'll be 37 years old the day before Christmas. The December 24th, 1986 is when he was born. He's 19-12-1. A little bit of a spotty UFC record at 8-10, but can you really find a boring Tim Elliott fight? I mean, come on. So I would imagine that's why he's still here. Has been submitted 4 times in the UFC. So that is a little worrisome for sure. Now, he's fought a lot of good guys. Like Davison Figueiredo, he fought him. Oh, yeah, Figueiredo, Alistair Askarov, Brandon Royval, who's getting up there to fight the champion. And came very close in the first round to beat Demetrius Johnson back in 2016, which was obviously a shock to everyone. Was submitted by Joseph Benavidez. John Dodson beat him. Ali Balutinov, who used EPO when he fought Demetrius Johnson, and still fought like crap. Got released from the UFC. Went 2-4 his first run. Got a lot of wins in a row. 1, 2, 3. 3 wins in a row. Made it to the Ultimate Fighter. Fought DJ, and he's kind of been doing his own thing. Kind of up and down. He's won 2 fights in a row, but he also won 2 fights back in 2020. Lost to Matthias Nikolai back in 2021. Beat Taker Ulanbekov. Looked pretty good in that fight, and beat Victor Altamirano. Now he's fighting Muhammad Mokaev. You know, I'm a big fan of Tim Elliott. I think a lot of people are. He has 9 finishes out of 19 wins. He is typically a decision guy, but his style is so fun to watch. But at 37 years old, 36 right now, but 37 this year, you have to ask, what is his motivation? What is he fighting for? Is he just fighting because he loves it? Is he fighting to, earn more money? What is the motivation? Is it to get to that title? Because at flyweight, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to make it, because I mean, you got Cruz there, you got Sterling, obviously Munoz, Rob Font, Vera, Cejudo, Garbrandt. Song Yadong is making his way up there right now. Sean O'Malley obviously is fighting Sterling here soon. Marab Davalishvili, Ricky Simone, Syed. I mean, this thing is stacked. Or wait, actually, wrong weight class. Okay, Brandon Moreno match now. Pantoja, Figueiredo still. Kai Kara France is just really, really hard. I mean, if he can beat Muhammad Mokaev, he kind of puts himself in a position to where he has to fight somebody big. Like Alex Perez could be a big one. Perez hasn't fought in a while. That could be a good fight. He could fight. Pretty sure he's fought Matt Schnell. I guess not. That could be a good fight for him. Davison Figueiredo keeps going back and forth if he's going to stay, and he's 35 years old. There is a couple of fights for sure. If anyone pulls out against Manel Kape, Kai Kara France, he could step in there. There's a couple paths for him, but at 37 years old, man, the time is either now or never. I mean, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think about that. If you agree, if you disagree, and then on to the next one. Next one is Davison Figueiredo. At 35 years old, former champion, had 4 fights with Brandon Moreno, 21 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. And again, a couple of those losses are to Moreno. The one other loss is against Jussier Formiga, and a decision that he just didn't really show up. After that, he fought Pantoja, Elliott, Benavidez twice, Alex Perez, and then fought Moreno for the next 3 fights. Won one of them. Again, and that's arguably that he lost that one as well. At 35 years old and bouncing back and forth deciding what he's going to do, I cannot believe that fight was in January of this year. It seems like last year, to be honest. Again, he was supposed to fight Manel Kape, I believe, at a different weight class because this weight cut's killing Deiveson Figueiredo. And again, at 35 years old, he'll be 36 December 18th. I mean, for one, what more do you have to prove unless you're going to go up to another weight class and try to win a title there? That is what makes most sense for Deiveson Figueiredo. Because what are you going to do? Go fight somebody and then try to fight Moreno again? Are you going to rematch Tim Elliott? I mean, I just don't understand exactly what to do. Fight Cody Garbrandt since he pulled out against Mario Bautista. I'm a little confused on what Deiveson could do in that weight class that he won the title, because none of us want to watch him fight Moreno again, and he's already beaten Pantoja. I guess that's the fight you could do, but who are you going to fight to get there? Because you can't just fight Pantoja. You'd have to fight Royval. You'd have to fight Kai Kara France. You have to fight one of those up-and-coming guys. Fight Amir Abazi. That could be a good one. He's in a very, very tough position. Very tough. Next on the bracket is Chad Allinger, 36 years old, to be 37 in also December. He's 12-6. Again, he fights at 135.5. That's at least what he weighed in last time. Trains at Champions Creed Martial Arts. Has been finished with submissions 5 out of 6 times. Does have 10 finishes out of 12 victories. And again, he's a lot of fun to watch. He was fun to watch Jesse Strader, which he did get a little stung and beat up a little bit in that fight. Was able to come back and win in that one. Fight Elite T Lang. Jeez, what a name that is. Did fight him. Got beat up a little bit in that fight. He's 1-1 in the UFC. And I don't really know where he goes from here besides just having fun fights. With his age and with his style, you can't really expect him to fight somebody up in the top 15. And at 37 years old, it puts you in a very, very bad position. It puts you in a position to where do I go? Am I fighting? What am I fighting for? And I think it brings up a really, really big question of, yeah, he can have a couple fun fights, but once he starts getting finished, it's probably the end of the road for that. At least with punches, because that's his style. And he's been hurt in his last 2 fights. He was just able to pull it out in the Jesse Strader fight. Wasn't able to do that in his last one. Got pieced up a little bit in that one. That's a hard one. Let me know where you guys think he goes. Do you think he just fights for the money? Do you think he fights for just the love of it? Do you think there's an option for him to fight for a title someday? Let me know what you guys think for sure. Next fighter we're going to be talking about in the last one we're going to be talking about is Victor Henry. Has a really, really big fight coming up against Javid Basharat. 36 years old, just turned 36, but he fights at 136, and that's really, really hard to keep that up with his age and just the miles that he's been on. Now, he has 23 wins and 6 losses, so obviously a really, really good record. He is 2-1 in the UFC. Defeating Tony Gravely. Rafael Sunsao kind of had his number, beat him up a little bit in that fight. Just kind of looked like old Rafael Sunsao. Sunsao should have retired with that one because he looked really, really good in that fight. Defeated Ronnie Barcelos in a fight that not a lot of people knew who he was. I thought Ronnie Barcelos would have the advantage in that fight, and it turned out that that was not correct. Now, he does have 14 finishes out of his 23 wins. Never been finished in his career. Just at 36 years old, at 136, it would be different if he was a heavyweight at 36 years old. That's pretty young for a heavyweight. But at 136, I mean, you can't be losing fights against Rafael Sunsao, even though back in the day that would age well. It doesn't age well now. You know, beating Tony Gravely is all fun and dandy, cool, but this puts him in a position to where, okay, you're 2-1 in the UFC, lost to a legend, and by name, you fighting a prospect in Javid Basharat. You have to beat him. You have to, because if you lose to him, you're in this no man's land. You lose to him, you're in a spot to where where do you go? Does UFC resign you? Because this is probably the last fight on his contract. So, a boring decision or a close decision doesn't help you. Whether people think you won or not, unless it was a clear robbery, it puts Victor Henry in a really, really bad spot. It puts him in a tricky spot. Now, he did win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of his last 12 fights. Agreed. But you have to beat these prospects. You have to. He does have a win over Kyler Phillips, which is aging very well. But even Kyler at 28 years old at 135, getting a little tricky. He is only 5-1 in the UFC. He lost to Rulian Paiva, and it was not from him trying to finish that fight. He was beating the crap out of Paiva. Beating the crap out of him. But as always, guys, thank you guys so much. Let me know on where these fighters should go. You know, Tim Elliott, Chad Angler, Jesus. Victor Henry, Davison Figueiredo. Let me know what you guys are thinking. As always, subscribe, like, comment. I'll see you at the next one. Peace.